Okay, imagine this. It's evening, you're relaxing. Outside, maybe a storm's kicking up, bit windy, and then you hear it coming from above.
Yeah.
Not thunder, not a plane. It's this high-pitched screeching sound, almost like a whale, but harmonic too. It's really unsettling. And you look up, but there's just nothing there, no visible source at all. That kind of eerie, unexplained sound from the sky, that's what we're diving into today. People all over the globe have been reporting these things for, well, decades now. It's a real puzzle. And you've sent us some fascinating stuff, an actual audio recording, which is pretty chilling, detailed stories from people who heard it, and some really interesting analysis. So our mission for this deep dive, we want to sift through all that, pull out the key insights, the surprising bits. We're going to look at what these sounds are like, how people experience them because it sounds intense, and, what the theories are about where they come from. Basically, get you up to speed on this really persistent mystery. Let's get into it. Okay, so let's start with a really specific case. This happened just this past March 5th in Riverside, Missouri. About, 7:80 p.m.?
That's right. And the witness, Chris, he was at home with his wife. It was windy, like you said, kind of stormy conditions. He was downstairs, and his wife calls him outside like, you have to hear this.
And what did he hear? How did he describe it?
Well, his description is really vivid. He said it was like a huge orchestra tuning itself, sliding up and down between two notes. But he also said it was eerie, almost ethereal. And crucially, it seemed to be coming from right above them.
Directly above, but they couldn't see anything causing it.
No visible source. Just this clear, loud, and definitely strange sound.
And what's interesting is he didn't just think, oh, weird noise. He immediately thought bigger picture, right?
Exactly. He connected it straight away to this whole phenomenon.
Yeah.
Said something like, these are the hums and sounds from the sky that have been happening across the globe for the past 40 years.
So for him, it wasn't just some random local thing. It was part of this larger ongoing mystery.
Yeah, and that really sets the stage. Because this is a global thing, going back decades. And the sounds reported, they're not all the same. Not by a long shot.
Right, so not just the eerie orchestra tuning sound.
No. People have reported things they call mystery booms. Sometimes it sounds like machinery grinding right above you. And then you get cases like Chris's, where it's described as very harmonic, almost like, a symphony. It's quite a range.
That variety is really striking. Wasn't there that recording from Kyiv, Ukraine, a few years back? That sounded totally different.
Oh, absolutely. The Kiev sound, that was around 2011, I think. And it was very distinctly machine-like. Really metallic, grating almost. A stark contrast to the sort of musical quality Chris described in Missouri.
So you have these vastly different sounds, harmonic, mechanical, but the common thread is nobody knows what's making them.
Precisely. And, it's probably no coincidence that reports seem to really take off around, say, 2011, 2012.
Why then specifically?
Well, think about what else was happening. YouTube really started hitting its stride maybe 5 or 6 years before 2017.
Ah, right. So people suddenly had a place to share these recordings.
Exactly. Suddenly someone in Ukraine could upload their recordings, someone in Missouri could upload theirs. It became this global repository for these strange, many times eerie and frightening sounds, as the source puts it.
It connects the dots for people, makes them realize they're not alone in hearing this stuff.
For sure. It went from isolated anecdotes to a documented, shared experience.
But it's not just about hearing something weird, is it? The sources suggest it's a much more physical experience for some witnesses.
Oh, absolutely. It goes way beyond just auditory perception. People report feeling a presence of something massive moving above me.
A presence, like physically feeling something.
Yeah. To the point where it reportedly shook their houses, their cars,
Yeah.
set off car alarms, even made animals panic and run for cover.
Wow. Shaking houses, that's intense. That implies a lot of energy, whatever it is.
It really does. And there's this interesting pattern many witnesses describe in how the sound progresses.
Okay.
They compare it to a train passing by. It starts fading the distance, gets louder and louder.
Reaches a peak when it's overhead.
Exactly. Loudest right above them.
Yeah.
And then it fades away as it moves off into the distance and disappears.
That really does suggest something physical moving through the sky, even if you can't see it.
It's hard to explain that progression otherwise, isn't it? A sound source that travels.
So put yourself in that position. Your whole house is vibrating, the dog's freaking out, there's this overwhelming sound, but you look up and nothing. What do you even do? Where do you turn?
Well, naturally, people look for official explanations, right?
Yeah.
You'd hope an agency like NASA might have some insight.
Well, do they? What's the official word?
Well, one source mentions a NASA spokeswoman who seemed to want to kind of glaze over this entire phenomenon. Her explanation was basically that it's all just the natural symphony of the Earth. Natural sounds our planet makes.
Okay. Natural symphony. But wait, how does that square with what the witnesses are actually hearing? There seems to be a problem there.
A big one.
Hmm.
Because, according to the source, NASA also stated that humans, for the most part, cannot hear these sounds. That they're not audible to the human ear.
Right. But everyone reporting this stuff says it's loud, clearly audible, even shaking their homes. That's a direct contradiction.
It absolutely is. And think about known natural sounds. NASA might be referring to earthquakes, maybe certain atmospheric phenomena from storms, solar particle interactions. Those often are outside the range of human hearing, or they sound very different. So the official line just doesn't seem to match the sheer volume and audibility of these reported sky sounds.
So why the discrepancy? Is it a misunderstanding or is something else going on? It does make you wonder.
It certainly raises questions about whether the official explanation fully captures what people are experiencing.
Okay, so if the natural symphony explanation doesn't quite fit, things get even stranger, don't they? The sources start talking about, well, cloaking, invisibility.
Yes. This is where some intriguing analysis comes in, the idea of cloaking mechanisms. There's one specific case mentioned. It involves analyzing video footage. Someone felt or sensed something huge just hovering in the clouds above their house.
Sensed it, not saw it.
Right. Didn't see it directly. But the analysis of the footage apparently revealed something sitting in the clouds. Something described as obviously invisible.
How can you see something invisible in footage?
Through its effect on the environment. The analysis suggested this thing was disrupting the clouds around it, kind of an indirect revealing.
Okay, and what did it look like based on that indirect view?
The description was just like a massive piece of machinery and cylindrical in nature, like a cigar shape.
A giant, invisible, cigar-shaped machine hiding in the clouds. That's quite a claim.
It is. And it's not the only example cited. There's other analysis mentioned, this time of night footage.
What did that show?
Similar idea. People recorded the night sky, maybe because they just felt something was off, felt a presence.
That feeling again.
Exactly. And when the footage was brightened significantly in analysis, apparently you could see these stationary objects.
Stationary, not moving like the sound source seemed to.
In these specific night cases, yes, described as stationary, either cylindrical again or sometimes triangular, and completely blended with the darkness until enhanced.
So hidden in plain sight, almost. Only revealed through processing the video.
That's the suggestion. And it makes you think, doesn't it? How many people might have recorded something similar? Maybe they felt that strange sort of awareness, like the source says, pointed their camera up but just saw dark sky. They wouldn't know how to analyze the footage to see if something was hidden there.
It raises questions about intuition, too. Can people sometimes sense things that our eyes can't pick up directly?
It's a fascinating possibility. Maybe our perception is wider than we usually give it credit for, especially when faced with anomalies.
So, taking all this together, the diverse sounds, the physical sensations, the invisible objects suggested by analysis, what are the actual theories about the source of all this?
Well, the sources lay out a few possibilities that people speculate about. One, obviously, is connected to that analysis. Is it some sort of cloaked object in our skies? Some kind of hidden craft? Maybe not ours?
Okay, that's one line of thought. What else?
Another idea floated is that these sounds are perhaps dimensional in nature.
Dimensional, like bleeding through from another reality or something.
Kind of, yeah. Sounds from somewhere just adjacent to our own perception, maybe only audible under certain conditions. It's a more esoteric idea.
Definitely out there. Any other contenders?
There's also mention of ARP experimentations. That might be a reference to things like HARP, the High-Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, or similar atmospheric research.
So the idea being that maybe powerful experiments manipulating the atmosphere could be creating these sounds as a side effect. Weather manipulation, stuff like that, as the source puts it.
That's another theory some people propose, yeah. Could it be human technology, maybe experimental, causing these effects?
Cloaked objects, dimensional echoes, secret experiments. Quite a range of possibilities. Do the sources lean towards any one answer?
Not really, no. And this is key. The source material is quite upfront about the fact that we simply don't have enough data to say for sure what's causing these sounds.
So despite all the reports and analysis, it's still fundamentally a mystery.
It is. But what's undeniable, and maybe the most compelling part, is just how many people are reporting these things all over the world, often with striking similarities in their experiences. They're looking for answers.
Which brings us back to you listening. The sources really emphasize this collective effort. Have you heard anything like this? That weird harmonic wail or maybe mystery booms or grinding sounds from the sky? Have you ever felt that strange presence, that sense of something massive overhead, even if you couldn't see it?
The invitation in the source material is clear. Share your experiences. Share any recordings or footage. The idea is we're piecing this together, quote, one puzzle piece at a time.
Yeah, your story could be a really important part of understanding this global phenomenon. So let's just quickly recap. We've heard about these incredibly varied yet consistently reported mysterious sounds from the sky. They're not faint, they're often very loud, clearly audible. They sometimes come with physical effects, shaking, vibrations.
Right, and they're linked to this sense of an unseen presence, backed up by some intriguing, though debated, analysis suggesting invisible objects.
And the official explanations, like the natural symphony idea, just don't seem to fully account for the loudness and the nature of these reported experiences.
So it leaves us with this lingering question. Considering how widespread these accounts are, spanning decades and continents, these clearly audible sounds, the physical impacts, the hints of something unseen, what if this all points to a significant gap in how we understand our world? Maybe even what lies just beyond our normal perception.
If so many people are having these detailed, consistent experiences, what does that really imply about what we consider known versus unknown up there in our skies? It's definitely something to think about.